Hey guys, what's up, CardOtaku here, and today I'm here with another CardOtaku Vanguard deck profile. Today we'll be going over a deck profile for the Orfist deck. I know it hasn't been too long since my 2.0 deck, but set 3 is out and we have the 3.0 version of the deck now. And I really like the support from BT3. It gives us an option to multi-attack, which is very important and something that the deck was lacking. And overall, the deck is just a lot of fun to play. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the right deck, we're just going to run the traditional Orfist line. Nothing special about that. Grade 3s, we're also running the same old 3 Orfists. So there's that. Next, we're also running 4 of the overDress. So this still helps you control the board a bit. And it's a 15k attacker, so it's pretty good. Retiring is definitely a lot more useful than the restand utility-wise, because the restand does require 3 tokens, and that's why we're running 4 of the overDress and only 3 of the Disturbed. So this is a new card. It also gets it's also a 15k attacker, but the second skill for this card is when at the end of the battle that this card attacked, you can retire 3 Shadow Army tokens to restand this unit. So most of the time how you use this is just you stack your triggers on there. So if you have a crit on here, then you just stack everything on here. Obviously if you Persona Ride, it's going to be a lot more devastating because it'll be swinging for at least 25k. If you get any triggers, I'll just keep bumping it up. And a lot of times you can steal wins with this card. Early game, if your opponent does not have a perfect guard in their hand, or they just don't have anything to guard with, which is the case for a lot of Bastion players. I was playing against Bastion, and I killed them before they could Persona Ride. So it's pretty good. This deck is pretty good at stealing some early game damage, so it's pretty nice. I just stacked my crits on this thing, and I just swung with it twice, and then they had no way to guard it. So pretty good. I think this is pretty good against Bruce as well. Next, we are going to be running 4 Thumbelina. So Thumbelina is here to get you some early game pushes if you do the Shadow Army token world, and helps you replenish your hand. It also gets rid of your Shadow Army tokens so that you don't get Leonarded. So overall, pretty good card. I really like her pushing for numbers. Next, we're running 2 of the new card. This is Ryojia. So it's a very Link Joker looking card, as is the whole deck. But this card's effect is when this card's placed on a red guard circle, you can look at the top 3 cards of the deck and then add a world card from reveal it, and then put the rest at the bottom of the deck. So pretty good. It gives you you can run less orders with this, not by much. I'm still running 7, but the second skill is just to Soul Blast 1, retire this card. If you have Orfist as your Vanguard, then you can play a Shadow Army token. So it does not require Counterblast to play the token, so that's pretty good. We'll see. We'll tell you why it's important later on. Why getting fresh tokens is good. Next, we're running 4 of the Bulma Bean. Soul Blasting is pretty important in this deck now because we are running the new Grade 3 order, and obviously countercharging is very important because the main problem with this deck is that if you get Counterblast denied, it just kind of stops there. So you want to have the countercharge options just so that you can play around you getting damage denied. Next, we're running 4 Perfect Guards. Pretty self-explanatory. For the orders, we're running 3 of the draws, 2 of the Shadow Army tokens, and 2 of the new Grade 3 order. We're not running the retire because we have overDress to do that, and I'm kind of tight on space, so I want to play orders that I will use the most often and is easiest to play with. This order is really good because on the turn that you use the Orfist skill, you get 15k extra power on the board, which is really nice. So next, for the triggers, we're running obviously the overtrigger for Brandt Gate, where we are running 8 crits, 3 fronts, and the extra and the heals, not the extra. We're running heals. So obviously, I'm not running draws in this deck. I think fronts are better just because it helps you and your shredded army tokens just push for better numbers. And in terms of hand generation, I think this deck is pretty good at just maintaining hand, so the draws aren't as useful. I'd rather have a beefier guard to guard with, especially if you use these orders and you draw into a draw trigger, then it feels bad. Draw into front, doesn't feel as bad. So that's pretty much it for this deck. It's very fun to play. It's much more fun than it was last time. It is sometimes a little bit reliant. If you want to finish this game, you kind of have to stack for triggers in order to do so. But if you do hit into an over trigger, it's pretty much GG. You're gonna swing for 2 crits for 100 million twice. So your opponent, unless they have 2 perfect guards, they're gonna die. So yeah, this deck is pretty simple. There's not really too many changes. The only real changes we do have are these. But these changes do help push the deck a lot. I was having a lot easier time playing against Bastion and Bruce with these decks, with this build. Just mainly because if you do stack some triggers early on, obviously you shouldn't be relying on them. But if you have triggers early on with this, or having this card on the field, just pumping your Shadow Army tokens out by an extra 5k when they're called, it's really nice. Just because the extra 5k does add up to be more and more shield that your opponent has to guard with. So it's really nice. Obviously, if you have this and this called in the same turn, this will be a 40k column. So that's pretty nice. If you do it on the Persona Ride turn, it's going to be a 50k column, which is pretty insane. So yeah, obviously there's main problem now is soul blasting. Usually you're only going to get one, so if you played both, then that's good on you, but most of the time if you have one, that's enough. And this is kind of like a more passive order, being that you can reuse this effect every turn as long as you play tokens. So that makes the two soul blast cost a bit more worth it. And obviously this just helps you combo with this by converting this 8k booster into another Shadow Army token that can potentially be a 20k booster or attacker. So overall, I quite like this as well, especially since it helps you search for orders, so it's deck thinning. I would run more of these if I had the space, but everything right now in the deck is just really key. So I don't know what to do with it yet. The one thing that I did is just cut out some orders. If you guys noticed in my previous build, I was running 9 orders, so I cut 2 of those spaces out for the Ryojia, and then I cut out the previous this guy out for these, because they pretty much serve the same purpose. It's a 15k beater. This is a 15k beater that can withstand, so obviously this is better. And then so I also replaced the Grade 3 order with this. Honestly, if you don't really like this card, you can choose not to run it, but I honestly think this is a really good card. So I would run it over the retire, just because we have other retiring options, so we don't really need too many of these. But of course this will be very useless if you don't have any tokens on the board, but that's okay. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Set 3 is not out in English until in a bit, I think. But if you guys want to support the channel, you can feel free to use the affiliate links down below so that you can buy the singles that you need for this deck when it comes out, or buy boxes if you want. But yeah, it's just a TCG player link. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is CardOtaku, and I'll see you guys next time.